if you run a company, there's some things that happen. So sometimes I'm going to come down on people in this room. It's like, get your head out of your ass. This isn't the time to fight that fight. Let's fight this fight. All the fights need to be fought. If there's some sort of, like right now, between now and November, talking about how somebody's a rhino, I could give a shit. We need to get people out to vote and get whoever's a Republican, get them elected. And then if you want to fight against infighting, do that after the election. Do that until the next primary. And so there's just different things like that, but we have no money. There's the big donors look at us and going, they don't want to bet on us because we can't get along. We don't know how to win. We have to start winning. We have to learn how to win. We have to support candidates. Nobody in the right mind would want to stay.
All right. Well, welcome to Behind Enemy Lines. Terry is out on assignment, or what is he doing? His kids have to go to college, so you guys should start paying him some money. He's doing a lot of work out there, and you know how expensive college is. So, hey, Terry, I'm advocating for you here. Uh-oh, we're frozen.
Yeah, just the cameras.
Oh, okay. What about, can the people see me, or? All right, good. Okay, so that was from this last Thursday at our Lincoln Trump dinner that we had to raise some money for our new partner, a local grassroots organization, DuPage Freedom Foundation, and Behind Enemy Lines. We had some big time speakers there. Jason, you want to pull up that Gateway Pundit article? And the speaker that you saw there wasn't our biggest speaker. But that was Dean White. He is the Republican National Committeeman for Illinois. And we also had another big representative from the Illinois GOP, co-chair Aaron Delmar. So you heard Dean's message there. We definitely appreciate those guys coming out and showing some support. I think they were hedging their bets a little. But, hey, it goes to show how much of an impact the grassroots has on the party now here in Illinois. But, yeah, so here's our story from the Gateway Pundit. If you scroll down a little, Jason, a little bit more, and right there. So an interesting thing. So we had a dichotomy here. Our grassroots organization had a couple big speakers. We had a Trump surrogate, Tana Gertz, a runner-up on The Apprentice, and Trump special advisor during his 2016 campaign. She's out of Iowa, and she's kind of Trump's go-to gal in Iowa, and she gave us a speech. And then we had our buddy Chris Adamo, who wrote Rules for Defeating Radicals, which is kind of a challenge to Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. And Chris was also featured referenced in General Michael Flynn's book, The Citizen's Guide to Fifth Generation Warfare. So there are our big speakers. Plus, we had two major Illinois GOP operatives at our event, as well as some other grassroots people. And then most importantly, we had these candidates, and along with John Boris, who's running in the 3rd district, I believe, in Illinois. And that's the key, right? So across town, the actual party had their own little dinner. And I say little because everybody who was at that dinner came to our event and told us how they had nobody there. We outdrew them at the dinner. And I think we talked to everybody before this happened and let them know that their keynote speaker was a registered Democrat. Now, the guy's got a good cause, and I support it. I think he's a good guy. But you have to recognize the irony of the actual party having an event, a dinner that they do annually called the Reagan Dinner, right? And they have a registered Democrat speaking to the people that are supposed to support them. And we, the grassroots organization, who started a podcast a year ago, we've only been doing this for a year, was able to get a Trump surrogate. So we were 1 degree separation away from Donald Trump at this dinner with over 130 attendees, vendors, an author that has worked with General Michael Flynn, and then 2 major operatives in the Republican Party. Now, again, I appreciate those guys coming out. I really do. I think it has a lot to say about how far this grassroots movement has come. But I would just point you to the comments that Dean made there. I referenced them in this Gateway Pundit article. And when talking about the party, the man who is the representative to the National Republican Committee said, "We have no money, and big donors don't want to invest in our product." Yeah. Just a reminder to everybody, that's because of a very simple fact. The state of Illinois is overrun by Democrats. They have less than half representative in each house of the legislature. They've lost the last 2 gubernatorial elections. And they've spent, and the Republicans have spent the last 30 to 40 years being controlled by, the Madigan corruption machine. And so when Terry and I started this fight, we pointed out that, hey, there's Republicans they might as well be Democrats, donating to Soros-funded prosecutors like Kim Foxx, right? We pointed out, hey, look over here. There's porn in the schools. Maybe you want to say something. We pointed out that the Senate minority leader, the Republican Senate leader, went around in the 2022 cycle and said Amendment 1, which gives public unions state constitutional authority to collectively bargain, effectively paving the way for communism in Illinois, as a hill to not die on. Well, yeah, not a hill to die on, Senator Curran, if there's a bunch of teachers unions and other unions that are giving you money. And, amazingly, you're running unopposed. And next thing you know, you're Senate minority leader. But yet you'll say nothing, even though Terry pointed out there's pornography in your daughter's school. You'll say nothing of that. And again, you're gonna advocate for Amendment 1, which gives, that's the workers' amendment. I mean, we've talked on the show about the Brandon Johnson situation in Chicago. He's a former head of the teachers union, and he's colluding with the teachers. After Amendment 1 gets passed, next thing you know, the teachers come with their demands. They want to raise the Illinois budget $50 billion. They want housing for the members of their union, right? We saw a couple weeks ago the Chicago Board of Education resigned because this tyrant Brandon Johnson is working with the teachers union and trying to serve their interests. And, they wanted a high interest loan of like $300 and something million for God knows what. But this is what the Democrats do. They grow government, right? And now they've given constitutional authority to public unions. So what are the people going to have to say? They can negotiate. They can collectively bargain on economic welfare and safety, right? What has happened at the federal level with the bureaucrats? Well, we saw it during the 2020 election cycle with the Twitter files. They were suppressing the Biden laptop. They were pressuring Twitter, Facebook, all the social media companies to suppress conservative thoughts, right? So they were violating the First Amendment. What happened during COVID? You can't have your business open. I mean, everything that happened during COVID was a violation of the Constitution. All of that was illegal, and they just did it because the bureaucracy has too much power. That, folks, is what is going to happen in Illinois because of Amendment 1, because now public unions have the right to collectively bargain, and it's written into the Constitution. I've always said When the government tells you an institution has rights, what they mean is authority, and you are going to lose your rights as an individual. So, you know, to Aaron Del Mar and Dean White, again, we appreciate you guys coming out. We appreciate the support. The grassroots need to be heard. They need the people in the party to recognize us. You were a message that you do recognize us, and we appreciate that. But folks, listen to what he said. We have no money. The big donors don't want to invest in our failed product. Yeah. That's because the Republicans have been at the wheel. The establishment Republicans that are there now, many of them have been at the wheel while porn came into our schools, while Amendment 1 got passed, while the Safety Act got passed with cashless bail, making all of our communities less safe, while they took away our Second Amendment rights, while they created a book ban bill violating our First Amendment right, cutting the taxpayer out of the ability to petition their government for redress. This state, I say it all the time, is barreling towards communism, and it's the evidence for it is in the policy and the legislation. I am not gaslighting. I am not being hyperbolic. Look at history. Look at the Soviet. Look at the Chinese constitutions. Look at the history of how they suppressed their citizens, what they did, the legislation they enacted, the policies they enacted. I mean, I sat there in my village council hall and watched as a village council in a suburb of Chicago removed the lone conservative from the library board for violating no statute, for not even violating any rules of the library. Bill Nienberg got kicked off the library board, voted down 4-3 because he didn't build consensus and he wasn't easy to work with. These people don't even recognize how crazy. They don't even recognize how bad it is, how bad the optics are of saying, this guy disagreed with us. It was 6 people that agreed and 1 disagreed. 1. It wasn't a mixed bag. 1 guy was asking, what are we doing with the budget here? $7 million budget for a 50,000 population library. $7 million. Just hired a social worker for God knows what, right? And this guy's just like, what are we doing with the money? And they're like, this guy, he disagrees with us. We're going to remove him. That is what totalitarians do. And it's happening in our communities. That is so dangerous. So dangerous. So anyway, that's what we're fighting back against as a grassroots movement, right? And the beauty of a grassroots movement is we can say that nobody owns us. The Jesse Ventura model, which Trump followed very specifically when he started a populist movement in 2016, because nobody owned him. He made his own money. He said whatever he wanted. He went after the establishment, and that's what we need. I don't care. I'm agnostic to the cult of personality and who Donald Trump was, what his personality is. The fact of the matter is, people on the left and the right for many years have been looking for a libertarian style, a anti-establishment style candidate, somebody to fight back against an out-of-control bureaucracy who has been stealing money from us for years, to fight foreign wars, and has been keeping down, the low-income communities with the welfare state, and has been corrupt and taken money under the table, and somebody finally stands up to the establishment, right? That's what we need here in Illinois. And we had a dinner the other night that shows that we don't really need the establishment part. We don't need you. We don't need you. Because have you gotten any Republicans elected that have done anything to fight back against the communist-style scourge in Illinois? Have you done anything? I just have a question. Why do we need you? All due respect, Dean and Aaron. Thank you for coming, but You're part of the party in Illinois. And I don't know what the party has done. And I don't know any reason that we need you, right? The model has been provided to us. I've sat there and listened to party leaders with Terry tell us that, oh, you need people on the ground knocking on doors, and you need them fighting for Republicans. Vote Republican, vote Republican. But for what? Like, what are they going to do? What are these magical Republicans you guys are talking about? What are they going to do? How are they going to stop pornography? They won't even talk about these things. I don't hear them anywhere. In 1 year, Terry and I have gotten our podcast past 3,000 listeners on multiple platforms. Terry's partnered with multiple national media outlets. I've written on the stories that Terry's done investigative journalism for, over 20 articles for the Gateway Pundit, who, by the way, has 3 million viewers a month, over 1 billion viewers a year. Okay. And in that time, I don't know what any establishment Republicans in Illinois have done about anything or have said about anything. We've fired at them about donating to people like Kim Fox, and what do? They kick us out of the local organization. They blackball us. So the important thing here is we've started a grassroots movement, and we see it's got traction, and we're going to keep moving in that direction. We want to talk to people who want to hear us, like Aaron and Dean, for sure. And we want to keep having events that, will build the momentum, and we're going to keep doing that. But I'm, with Terry, and I'm moving in one direction, and I really give a shit, excuse the French, what the establishment does. Because as Dean said, they have no money and nobody wants to invest in their product. So, for everybody who tells me like we need to work together, I got a question for you. Why? How about we'll keep doing what we're doing. We'll put the message out there. We'll build a coalition. If you, the establishment, wants to fall in line with us, hey, we'll welcome you. But we really give a shit less what you guys do. Go out there. Try to get some money. See if anybody listens to your message. Because I really don't have a freaking clue what that message is. I don't. Jason, let's bring up our partners who, shout out to Jason's wife, Jennifer Hayes, and Lisa Force and Noel Manley, and a lot of other people in the background. Vivian, a lot of other people who helped us put on this event. This was an awesome event. DuPage Freedom Federation.com. They're on Facebook. I mean, if you can find them, because Facebook is a totalitarian nightmare these days, and we've been kicked off. I don't know how many times. So DuPageFreedomFederation.com. This is the model, right? We tried working with different grassroots movement. The problem with grassroots, for sure, is, that there's a lot of fractious groups, right? So everybody's got their own opinion. I mean, this is the problem with a libertarian perspective of freedom, individual sovereignty perspective. It allows for everybody to have their own voice, right? If you got a bunch of chiefs and not enough Indians, and you're going to have differences of opinion. So we've been fighting through that, and the big challenge moving forward is going to be bringing everybody together under one message. And I think last Thursday, when we were able to get Tana Gertz, special advisor to President Trump, Chris Adamo, Rules for Defeating Radicals, 2 major Illinois GOP operatives, Larry Batag of the Warriors, and over 130 people and vendors. I'm trying to think of the other names that were there. Oh, we had Jody and Ken Zitko of United Sovereign Americans. They were doing the election integrity stuff. Shout out to them. That is important work, especially as we got, semi-important election coming up in a couple weeks. Christine, what's Christine's last name? Jason? Oh, she does. I can't remember. No, Michelle Peterson, Christine. I'm sorry. Michelle Peterson, who got an anti-grooming bill, first one in the country because her son was being groomed by his high school teacher, was there, and she's making progress going around to all the different states and getting anti-grooming bills in there so that we can punish the people who are grooming our children. And we need that now more than ever, with all the gender ideology, the trans ideology, the communist states like Illinois, California, and New York, who are trying to put laws in to separate the child from the parent while they're in the school setting, and then not notify the parent if the child wants to, seek puberty blockers or any of that stuff. So shout out to Michelle Peterson. Shout out to the Zitkos with the United Sovereign Americans. Check out United Sovereign Americans and be aware of all the crap that's going to be going on close to the election. Stop doing that. You're making it buzz in my ear, whatever you're doing, Jason.
Yeah, thank the people that work the door.
Oh, yes. The people that work. Well, yeah, the people that work the door. Vivian. Who else worked the door? The guy Mike Nielsen. Thank you so much, Mike Nielsen. And again, DuPage Freedom Federation. And let's put up the Trump train thing, please. We got the Trump train thing coming.
There we go.
All right, so there's something else that they're going to be doing this upcoming November 2nd. They're going to meet at 2:30 at they're departing from North Aurora Road there in Naperville, and I think we live in lib country, so I think they're going to be running into some Karens on that ride. Let's just put it that way. Although, hey, in Westmont, there's a nice little bar on the tracks there called the Uptown. Shout out. That was my uncle's old bar. Shout out to the Uptown. Go in there and have a cocktail, everybody. Trust me, that crowd will welcome you. That's a good working class crowd in the Uptown. You can have a bump and a beer and feel right at home. So there you go. You got a Trump train November 2nd. All right. Let's go, Jason, back to let's go to the candidates' websites here. So I want to I'm still seeing the Trump train. Okay. So we had some candidates. So this is John Boris. He's running in District 3 for Congress. And John was there. And John was a former cop, turned lawyer. And I don't care who his opponent is. And the Democrats in Illinois are full-blown insane. Or if they're not insane, they're just corrupt. So, I mean, look at that. Family man, beautiful family, great dude. John comes to all of our events. John came to our Mike Lindell event. John came to our Border 911 event with Tom Homan, former director of Immigration Customs Enforcement, who we just had on the show the other day. John's a good guy. He served his community and country as a policeman, and I think his motivation is to serve. So, shout out to John for making it out at the Trump dinner, the Lincoln Trump dinner the other night, and we'll do whatever we can for you, John. Next up, we got. What is that? Chad Coppy. He's running in for U.S. House, Illinois, District 8. And he is an Army vet and former jumbo jet pilot, farmer. And so, family man. I sat next to him, actually, at the dinner. Nice guy. Didn't get to talk to him much because, just trying to help Terry out. He can get, he's running all over the place. Got to kind of steer Terry. He's a little wild sometimes. Okay, next up We have Jeremy Wang. There you go. You got Jeremy Wang for DuPage Circuit Court Clerk. Good guy, Jeremy. Got a chance to talk to him. I used to be in the local Downers Grove Township Republican organization with Jeremy. Jeremy showed up from that event, which had that Democrat keynote speaker. I mean, I heard that they didn't even have enough people to buy raffle tickets for the stuff they were raffling off. But hey, shout out to Jeremy, because Jeremy's Jeremy J is he's working with the establishment, and he came to our event. I mean, I think it takes guts to do that, right? Like we clearly have a division here between the grassroots and the establishment. And the fact that we had all these candidates come, and the fact that we know that a few of them were at both events, shows that I don't know if there's a precedent for this. As far as I know, talking to some people that have been around the block a while, doesn't sound like there is a precedent. Sounds like this is something new. But that makes sense, because the Republican Party has turned populist. They've turned working class. And Illinois Republicans just haven't got the memo yet. Okay, next one. What do we got, Laura? Or no, I'm sorry. We got Nicole Prater. Nicole's great. Nicole is running for DuPage County Recorder. Nicole's an Air Force veteran. And Nicole, I believe, there we go. She is she's been, I think, Winfield Township. She's elected to the Winfield Township. She's there we go. Now, Nicole had an interesting story for me the other day, and I'm just gonna give you the facts. So Nicole is running against this lady named Liz Chaplin, I believe. And that's what
Liz is a very awful person.
Okay. I'll take Jason's word for it.
I don't say many things, but
well,
I will say that.
Okay, so I'm going to tell a little bit of a story here. Okay, I spoke to Nicole the other day. Nicole had put a message out there on Facebook that her accounts were taken down by Meta, and on Instagram and Facebook. And what happened was, somebody had hacked her email and created some explicit material on an account with her email. And what happens in that instance is that Meta then takes down every account that is connected to that email address. Sounds like it was deliberate, but I'll tell you why. So Nicole was a little taken aback because I'm pulling up a message here. Sorry, this is very unprofessional. Terry does it all the time, but I don't approve. So Nicole was a little taken aback because the Metropolitan Alliance for Police Union endorsed Liz Chaplin, someone who had been an Black Lives Matter protester and had been in support of defunding the police. So that sounds a bit odd that the Metropolitan Alliance for Police endorsed that kind of person, a person that would have been pro, defund the police. So a lot of their members were furious about this, and they were going after the union president. A lot of people went after Chaplin on Facebook because it didn't make sense. They felt like it was an under-the-table deal, things of that nature. And apparently she felt like she was getting harassed and whatnot. And almost right after that, Nicole's accounts were all shut down because someone had hacked her account, her email address, and created these explicit images or whatever it was on Instagram. Now, the interesting thing in all of this is I came to find out that DuPage County Board is currently in contract negotiations with MAP, the Metropolitan Alliance for Police. And what do you know about that? Isn't that interesting, Jason? So what we have here is the DuPage County Board is currently in negotiations with MAP, with the Metropolitan Alliance for Police, union. Liz Chaplin is on the DuPage County Board. Liz Chaplin is running for the recorder position.
Remember when you talked?
Go ahead.
Remember when you talked?
We can't hear you.
Remember?
No.
Remember when you spoke at the board about the election integrity? And
Yeah.
Liz Chaplin had a
Yes.
comment on that.
Yes.
I do have that short.
Oh, do you? Yeah. Let's hear. Let's hear it. This is the person, by the way.
The opponent.
Yep. Yeah. Let's hear from Liz Chaplin, the person who
Give me just 1 second. To
who
switch to
supposedly
it.
is getting endorsed by the Metropolitan Alliance for Police. Oh, there we go. Yeah. I remember this short.
Yeah. And
Now, on this issue of the voting, I would just say, this is public record data. 4 million ineligible or uncertain registration violations, 589,000 votes cast by ineligible or uncertain registrations. I would just ask you, who are sitting on this county board, how do you even take yourself seriously sitting up there supposedly being elected when we have these many issues in our voter roll? This is public data. So I hope that we see something from this board.
I think we need to make a comment on the public comment that was given this morning, just because our democracy is very fragile, and statements like that really erode the trust in our democracy and our system. So what I'm thinking is that maybe we put a statement out that the elections in DuPage are fair.
Now, on this issue of yeah, well, Liz, that's public data. I mean, we can. I bring the Zitcos on here, and they can show that data. I mean, look. To be fair, I spoke with a Republican on the county board that said the same thing. That's impossible. I mean, it's data. But this isn't surprising, right? Because we live in 1984, George Orwell's 1984, where truth is lies and lies are truth, and nobody knows which way is up or down, except for us, right? Because it's like I was talking to a family member the other day when I was like, you don't need a gatekeeper. You can find the truth yourself. And she was like, but who do I trust? And before I could say anything, someone just jumped in and was like, yourself. I was like, exactly. Right? That kind of comment for Liz, I think we need to get a statement out there. I think we need to tell everybody that DuPage County's elections are secure. Oh, well, if Liz says so, well, then that takes care of that. That just throw that data away. Liz Chaplin says that our elections are secure. Let's just, you know what? Why don't we just violate everybody's First Amendment right while we're at it? Because elections are secure. So if they say that, why don't we arrest them? Maybe if we arrest them, how far do you want to go, Liz? Apparently you make the rules now. I mean, the Metropolitan Alliance for Police Union seems to trust you. But Meta doesn't trust Nicole Prater, an Air Force vet, and a stand-up Republican who's running for county recorder.
Hey,
I don't buy it.
we got a late entry here for Terry and Crystal's event from Middle America Grassroots Action.
We'll put it on up.
Pull it on up on the screen.
Yeah.
Here.
Let's see it.
They were at our event.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. The Trump Force 47. Crystal Offren, right? This was her and I forget the other.
Crystal and Terry.
Terry, yeah. Crystal and Terry. What do we got there? Sunday, October 27th, MAGA party up in Ottawa, Illinois, 3401 North Route 23. Bring a dish, $10 a person. Let's see. Learn how you can help Trump win the battleground state of Wisconsin. Obviously very important, right? Wisconsin being a swing state, Wisconsin going to Biden last election, supposedly. Yeah, so join Crystal and Terry.
All right.
Grassroots event. Big deal. Help the cause. Grassroots is the future. Nobody cares about the party. We are the party. If you want to be a Republican in the future, you're gonna get in through the grassroots channel. All right. So next we got Hope Mercado. Hope's a great lady. I also knew her from the Republican organization. She is a longtime lawyer in Illinois. Spoke to her husband as well. Great guy. And Hope is running for, it's a circuit court clerk. Does it say which? We have a third sub-circuit court. There you go. So Hope's been practicing law for over 20 years. She's got a lot of accomplishments as a lawyer and a litigator. Stand-up lady. She was one of those people who went to both events. We appreciate very much, again, the candidates who had gone to both events, who were brave enough to make their own decisions and stand up to the party. A lot of people were pressured. A lot of people were hearing a lot of stuff behind the scenes about the party, trying to, push back against people that support us. It's not going to work. So we have the megaphone. We have the loudspeaker. We definitely support somebody like Hope, who has integrity and has a independent mind and wants to serve. So vote for Hope. All right. Next we have Laura Hoyce. Laura Hoyce, friend of the program. Somebody that I've been working with since I got involved in politics. Laura's a go-getter. Laura hits the ground running. She's relentless, out on the campaign trail, knocking on doors. She cares about that. I recommend going to Laura's page. She talks about the specific. If you scroll down, there you go. She just real succinctly lists the things that she will support, specific to the county board, specific to citizens' rights. Look at that. She mentions she's a grassroots Republican, and that's true. The local party hates her. And it's because she's got a mind of her own, and it's because she speaks up, just like they hated me and they got rid of me because I dared to speak up and challenge the party for not having any guts to speak out against stuff. So Laura's running for County Board District 2 in DuPage County, and I think she's got a great chance, and I think she will be a great county board member, and I think she will actually advocate for conservative values and cutting taxes and low spending and what's in the best interest of the county and the people that live in it. So shout out to Laura. Thank you, Laura, for being there. And, again, grassroots candidates, folks, grassroots candidates. And I think we got a couple more, right? Yep, Mark Rice. Here's Mark Rice. Talked to Mark today. Great guy. Mark wasn't there on Thursday, but he's been to a couple of our events. Mark is running against Krishna. It's an Indian name. It's really long, lots of syllables, like Vivek. But I don't even want to give that guy. His name is going to come up in another story we got here. But Mark's a good guy, business owner. He started some sports organization, coaching, and he's running in Illinois House District 8 for Congress, I believe. Is that it? Scroll up. For Congress, Illinois District. What does that say in the top left corner?
I'm sure it says District 8.
Yeah, I believe so. So, Mark Rice, Republican for Congress. Vote for Mark. All right, let's just pull up the Gateway Pundit story real quick. So this is a story we did based on the interview we did with former director of ICE Tom Homan last week. And Jason, if you scroll down, I just want to point out one thing before we get to the FEMA stuff. Go down towards the bottom there, and it's probably in the last couple paragraphs. Okay, nope, keep going. So he says a bunch of things that are kind of crazy, but okay, there's that. Most concerning assertion from Director Homan was in response to the question about a potential terror attack in reference to the Hamas attack on Israel on October 7th, 2023. He was asked about how realistic a similar situation would be in the United States. And you scroll down, and he says, "Oh, it's coming." So I hate to be a pessimist, but that's the former director of ICE. Now, and that lines up with all the reporting that Terry and I have been doing when Terry's FOIA'd and gotten the information about what's going on in the migrant facilities, all the crime and all the criminals that have been caught. If you scroll down a little bit more towards it, let me see. Okay, so right there, he did, however, say something reassuring because he said that in reference to a future Trump organization, in reference to the cartels, he said, so he's going to designate them as a terrorist organization and he's going to wipe them off the face of the earth. Now, I think that was giving us kind of a tell. And I don't know if he meant, because Tom's a passionate guy and he wants to get back in there and he wants to help save this country from the disaster that the Biden administration, the captured Biden administration, is thrust upon us. But I think that's a big tell because the implication of that, it doesn't escape me, because the cartels, they're the source of all of this stuff. Everything that's bad for America that has come in illegally has come in, whether it be just across an open southern border with human trafficking, with fentanyl, with drugs, with all of that, all of the terrorists, all the things that could threaten the national security and the people of this country. You can look at the southern border, but you also can look at the ports of entry. There's multiple stories about shipping containers and so forth. The idea that Tom Homan says that Trump actually wants to wipe the cartels off the face of the planet, that's your funneling mechanism for the destruction of America, the sought destruction of America from America's enemies. America's enemies are certainly helping fund NGOs and any corrupt mechanisms that might aid in terrorists, in fentanyl, in human trafficking, in child sex trafficking coming into America. Anything that destabilizes our national security via southern border or ports of entry, and northern border for that matter, any of that is being helped along.
Yeah, the northern border.
The northern border is bad. It's really bad. Actually, I just saw something from Customs and Border Protection's website that shows the northern border is the border of choice for terrorist watch list individuals.
Have you also seen how many Canadians are down in Arizona?
That's apparently Jason thinks Canadians in Arizona is a problem. These days I could tend to agree with you if they're Trudeau supporters, especially. But anything that is a threat to our national security as it relates to the border and the ports of entry and how wide open and porous they have become, it is being facilitated by the cartels. They're the agent that funnels in these issues to the country. The idea that Trump would wipe them off the map would bring, it's interesting to me, the parallel between that idea and Trump's isolationist foreign policy from his first administration. It makes sense, right? No new wars, and he wanted to get out of wars, and he was threatening to pull American troops back from all these, from this imperialist mindset where we were inhabiting every country known to man. At first glance, it's like, well, maybe that's just, he's just appealing to the voter. But, there's another aspect to this. If Tom Homan's right, perhaps the military presence is needed at home because we're going to go after one of the major issues that's threatening our national security, and it's the border and the cartels that are funneling all of these threats to our national security into our country. So something interesting as we move on to the last bit of stuff that we have for tonight. Jason, if you want to pull up that first pick. So we're going to be doing a story with Gateway Pundit again, and this story is in relation to FEMA and Department of Homeland Security funding that came directly to Chicago and to the state of Illinois. But one of the more irritating things found in this FOIA drop that Terry was able to get recently was this little blurb from a tranche of emails where these members of Congress, including our one and only Sean Casten in District 6, sending a letter to FEMA and Director of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas, urging them to prioritize the city of Chicago and requesting expedited reimbursement for $20.5 million for the emergency food and shelter program to help address the needs of migrants. So my point in bringing this up is just that, it's especially I listen to Sean Casten every now and then because it's it hurts my brain to listen to him too often. But the mouthing of platitudes about being for the underserved communities, and it's always in reference to like LGBTQ or he's race baiting or something like that. Now keep in mind, folks, this our representative Sean Casten, this is Silver Spoons, right? He grew up a rich kid in Hinsdale, and I just saw his parents like a year ago sold their house for like $3.5 million. This white guy, who went to an Ivy League school, he's gonna lecture everybody else about what minorities and underserved communities need. And here he is, he'll say that out of one side of his mouth, and here he is writing to the federal government saying, give us money for non-citizens. I mean, it's just like the hypocrisy, these people are traitors to America. This is like this right here, right? This just proves, and we've known this based on Terry and I's reporting about how Catholic Charities and the federal government has been assisting the city of Chicago and state of Illinois in this, and we all know that Illinois is corrupt. But this just goes to prove that the Democrats don't care about you, the American citizen. The Democrat Party. I'm not talking about Democrat people that have voted Democrat, people that have a difference of opinion with me, you, or anybody else. I'm talking about the party, the institution, the corruption of the institution. That's right. This is the theme here about institutions like Illinois giving, public unions, the institution, a right. Right? It's not a right. It's an authority that helps violate your rights as a citizen. So the Democrat Party is an institution. Here they are. And what are they doing? They're buying new voters. Because why? Why are they doing that? Why are they helping speed along the process of bringing new people into the country. And then we all know they're speeding along the amnesty process. They're speeding along the process, the pathway to citizenship process. Why do you think it is out of the kindness of their hearts? Do you think it's out of the kindness of their hearts? I don't have to apply motivation to somebody's use theory of mind to apply motivation to somebody. I don't have to say that I know what's in their head. All I have to do is point to the facts. The facts are that the Democrat Party as an institution supports the widespread influx of and mass migration of non-citizens into this country. They support the changing of the rules of the border to speed up the pathway to citizenship, to speed up the amnesty for asylum seekers. They support all of that, and they're paying for it. They're using your tax dollars to pay for it. This is mafia. They're a mafia. They're taking your money. They're shaking you down. They're taking that money they shook you down on, and they're paying for a product. And that product is a new class of citizen. That is the citizen that will be a permanent ward of the state and will be a guaranteed vote for the Democrat Party. And why? Why are they doing that? They're doing that because they don't have a policy that anybody wants to vote for, at least when they wake up to what's going on, right? I won't doubt that there's Kamala Harris supporters out there. I won't doubt that there's Democrat Party supporters out there. Well, what I will doubt about the people who are those supporters is that they don't value individual freedom, that they don't value checks and balances in government, that they don't value representative democracy. They value democracy. We don't live in a democracy. And I heard somebody lamenting this from the left the other day. That doesn't mean that we don't vote. No, what a republic is a representative government is, and especially in the case of the United States, is that, for example, with the Electoral College, it's a hedge for the little guy against the tyranny of the 51%. Because what's the tyranny of the 51%? At any point in time, 51% can vote away my rights. That's what a total democracy is. The Romans didn't like it, right? The Brits didn't like it. The founders of this country didn't like it, and they came up with a beautiful system. They came up with a system of checks and balances that would protect the sovereignty of the individual. And the Democrat Party hates that system because they can't push through their ideology totally without taking away your rights. So what they're going to do is they're going to try to flood the system with a new product of voters who are going to be wards of the state and who are going to be beholden to them with their vote. And it's as simple as that. I mean, you could argue against it. That's fine. I'm just telling you what's happening. So, all right. I was going to go over something else. You know what? We're bumping up on time here, and that story is going to come out. We will definitely talk more about that at another point in time. Again, message here is grassroots. It's possible. It's not only possible, it's happening. I mean, it can't get any worse in Illinois. So, and when the people in charge, the people steering the boat are supposed to be moving us away from a glacier, and they're just speeding us towards it. And you know what? I think the grassroots is going to have to step in. You know, I said not too long ago, I said the Republican Party, when I was in the military, we had a term for this. In Illinois, the Republican Party has become combat ineffective. Okay, and when that happens, when somebody is in the battle and they become combat ineffective for any reason, we remove them from the battlefield. So that's what the grassroots are doing. Again, like I said, to the people who think they're running things, you have no money. No big donors want to invest in your product. So we're not going to stop the direction we're moving in. You want to fall in line? Go ahead. I appreciate support from guys like Aaron and Dean. And I say that the channel of dialogue is open. But the way that this state is going to change is a tip of the spear strategy, right? Where you adopt the populist model, a model of a party for the people that is going to protect individual rights, that is going to claw back regulations, that is going to claw back government, that is going to open Illinois for business, cut taxes. Clawing government would help with that. That is going to stand up for parents' rights, that's going to stand up for educational choice, that's going to stand up for conservative values, conservative not in an ideological perspective, but conserving the freedom that the Constitution provided us. That's the key. It's a populist movement. It's a movement of the people. It's a movement away from the big money, the celebrity effect of the Democrat Party. So if you guys figure that out and you got the guts to stand up and speak out against an establishment model that is taking away people's rights, then fall in line and follow our lead. Otherwise, we'll just watch you fade away. All right. Join us next week. I think we have some candidates joining the show, and we'll hear from them as we lead up to the election. Terry will be back. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you in the trenches behind enemy lines.